Hi, let's take a look at some of the things that we can do with the number cards in DeckHive. So first off, we have a simple activity here with all the number cards laid out on the table already. And what we're going to ask the student to do in this case is just move the cards around to answer a question that we're going to pose. So it might be that we ask something like, can you put the cards in the correct order? Or can you put them in the reverse order with the highest number first down through to the lowest? Or maybe could you put them into two different piles so that we have the odd numbers together and the even numbers in a different pile? So the student could simply drag the cards around to answer the questions that we are posing them. It might be, for example, also that we give them a question that's about prime numbers or multiples of 2 or multiples of 3 or something like that. And we ask them to move the cards around to answer our question. So really simple, but a different way to engage the learner in the activity to make them really think about the numbers in a more playful way. Another activity might be to provide the sums partially completed already. So we have a sum here that needs to be completed, and we've given them a few answer cards on the right hand side so they can select from that smaller selection the one that they think is going to help us to answer that question. So then they simply drag the card again over to the right place to complete that sum. In the second one, we've got a question mark in there. So it might be they just have to drag the correct card over to put it over the top of that question card, the question mark, to complete that sum. And in the last one here, something slightly different. We've just put things in the wrong order. So we've got all the right bits here. But what do we need to do? How do we need to rearrange these number cards in order to make the sum work? So maybe they can just see and play around with it some different ways until they can find one that actually works. So again, a different, simple way to engage them, but a slightly different one. Something else that could be fun is to turn some of the cards over so that you turn one upside down, turn it over at random. So you ask the student to pick one and they can just turn that card over. So let's choose this one. And that then becomes your target number. So we'll drag that into the right place. And then we'll ask them to open up the deck of cards over here and see if they can find some numbers that will answer that question correctly. And they just pull those in over there like that. So as simple as that. Slightly different activity here is to write the numbers down on sticky notes in advance so they're in word form. So the student can read those words or you can read them to them, and then they can tell you or they can drag them for themselves the number cards that will allow them to create that number below the sticky note. So again, slightly different, but again, really simple. And a final one for now, we might want to look at number sequences or patterns, and so we lay out a number of cards in the pattern already and we ask them to collect the cards together that will create the next number in that sequence. Or to make it even more fun, we might actually turn the cards over and ask them to turn them over one at a time and then see if they can guess what the next card will be. And then they will get the satisfaction of seeing the right answer maybe or not. And then they can continue that sequence until they get the number correct.